In this video, we delve into the mysterious case of CarolineKangogo, a former police officer from Kenya who was at the center of a nationwide manhunt. Kangogo was wanted for the alleged murder of two men, sparking a media frenzy and capturing the attention of the public. Join us as we explore the twists and turns of this intriguing story, from her dramatic escape to her eventual capture. Stay tuned to uncover the truth behind the case of CarolineKangogo.
Dark Echoes 254.
Reports reaching our newsroom indicate that CarolineKangogo, the police officer accused of killing a fellow officer, is believed to be behind the murder of yet another man yesterday, this time in Juja. According to police sources, Kangogo booked a hotel room on Monday at Kimbo Market with a man whose body was discovered on Tuesday at around 1 p.m. The latest victim, identified as 32-year-old Peter Ndwiga Njiru. He had a gunshot wound to the head, indicating a bullet had gotten into the head from the right ear and exited from the...
CarolineKangogo, a police officer, was accused of murdering two men in Kenya. The case shocked the nation and sparked a massive manhunt for her arrest. However, before the authorities could catch up with her, Caroline was found dead. This raised more questions than answers. Many theories emerged about the events leading up to her death, with some speculating foul play, while others believed she took her own life to avoid facing justice. The mysterious circumstances surrounding CarolineKangogo's case left many wondering what truly happened. Was she a cold-blooded murderer or a victim of circumstances beyond her control? The truth may never be fully known, but one thing is certain: the case of CarolineKangogo will forever remain a haunting mystery. So who was this CarolineKangogo? Caroline was born on 10th January 1987 at Kamagoch village in Elgeyo Marakwet County to the couple Barnaba Korir and Leah Kangogo. She was the firstborn whom they brought up in the Christian way. She went to Nyawa boarding school for her early education. She then attended Alphonsus Mutei Girls in the same county, where she scored a C-. She then opted for a certificate course in peer counseling, which she pursued at KIPS. Then she later on tried her luck during a police recruitment drive in her own town, and gladly Carol was picked. She was taken in for police training in 2008, with this trip to Kiganjo Police College in Nyeri being the first time she got out of her home county, granting her a breath of fresh air. Away from her family and village, Carol felt determined to maintain this peace. She strived to achieve perfect status in a skill. The skill she chose was sharpshooting, and by the time she was graduating, Carol had a first class in sharpshooting range classification. This excellence in sharpshooting got her posted to Mombasa Police Training College on her first assignment in 2008, and it is here where her life began as she met her husband, Mr. Richard Ngeno, a senior officer at the Maritime Police Unit. This is a unit tasked with the job to secure Kenya territorial waters from narcotic trade, illegal fishing, maritime pollution, transnational crimes such as human smuggling and trafficking. They dated for a while and she became pregnant. She was then moved to Kaloleni Police Station in 2010, where she gave birth to a baby boy that same year. Their love blossomed and then they moved in together, and 4 years later they were blessed again with a beautiful baby girl. Just like any other relationship, it was shaky for the worst. She suspected that her husband was cheating and she confronted him, and he felt embarrassed and filed for divorce. She would not understand why, because she was not only beautiful but successful in her own right. So what was wrong with her? They later on separated but had an agreement on how to raise the children. On the other hand, Caroline's father disowned her for disappointing him. She then decided to uphold upgraded to corporal and went for further studies at Kenya Police College in Kiganjo. As her life was unfolding for greater heights, John Ongweno was graduating from University of Nairobi with a bachelor degree in economics and statistics in 2014. He was excited and full of life, hopeful for a meaningful employment. He became a manager at a Modern Coast line of buses in Kisii County. During a police recruitment drive, he tried his luck and was successful, sending him to Kiganjo Police College in 2015. Caroline by this time was promoted and transferred to Nakuru Kasarani Police Station. She lived in the camp at Block 19. Though still in pain of the divorce, she decided to try. She found a new love, alcohol, and partying. During her free time, she went to various entertainment joints in Nakuru showing love to alcohol. Most of those who saw or knew her never thought that she had a family due to her carefree and excessive alcohol consumption. On one of her nights out partying, she met Mr. Peter Ndwiga, a security expert who was expanding his now flourishing security business into Nakuru. The two quickly fell in love and a romantic affair was formed. Mr. Ndwiga was a street-smart businessman. He had a security firm hiring watchguards called Superb Security Group. This Juja-based firm had turned the school dropout into a well-dressed, polished person, something he deserved after trying and failing in both the matatu industry as a driver and also as a retail seller in Embu County. His failure had created a wedge in his first marriage to wife Purity Wanderi, with whom they had done a church wedding in Embu in the year 2000. He was able to remarry again. He remarried Margaret Wambui. Caroline and Ndwiga's romance bloomed to a point. Caroline entrusted Mr. Ndwiga with 1.5 million Kenyan shilling for Ndwiga to help her find a car, an amount she raised from savings, loans, and a 300,000 loan from her dad's retirement benefits. Peter failed to deliver on the assignment and instead opted to feed her empty promises. He instead bought himself a Pro Box almost at the time he received money from Caroline. This did not sit well with her. Curious, she dug deep into the of her alleged lover. She realized that he had two other wives. Hearts betrayed and heartbroken, she went back to her love, alcohol, and partying. This at times affected her job. Meanwhile, John Ongweno graduated from Kiganjo Police College and married his first wife, Juliet Aliero, whom he left at his rural home as he went to serve the people of Kericho. While there, he met Sweetney Audrey Chelangat, whom he also married. He was then reposted to Nakuru, where Caroline and John's path intertwined. They were both in the crimes unit. They lived in the same compound but different blocks. They met, and no sooner than they were inseparable. They would always marry in Caroline's house most of the time. On 5th July 2021, it was a normal Sunday and the couple was drinking in her apartment. Later, neighbors saw a man enter the house and shortly the two were locked into a serious argument. The mysterious man later left, leaving the already drunk couple sharing a battle of words, forcing John to leave. He went to meet a person at a Marika Hotel Nakuru and later boarded a boda that took him back home to his own house on Block 9 at Kasarani Police Line. Some moments later, CarolineKangogo arrived in the company of 3 men. They were the last people to see John alive. The next time he was seen was 7 a.m. Monday morning. His lifeless body, nose bleeding and ears bleeding in his car with headshot wound. His car engine was still running and single gunshots to the head and was pronounced dead at the scene. A 9mm cartridge which was believed to be used was recovered from the scene. Nothing apart from the gun was stolen. The police officers reported that no gunshot was heard around. His death was ruled as a homicide, and the police started tracing his movement before he met his death. There was a phone in the vicinity, and when they dug deeper, they realized it was Caroline's phone. The presence of Caroline's phone at the crime scene directed to her as a main suspect. So all units were put on notice to track Caroline, who was now on her way to Thika to meet Peter Ndigwa, her ex-boyfriend, with her phone switched on and off. Ndwiga, oblivious of her actions, received her call and picked her in his pro box. The two went to Jogo Kimakia Hotel, where they shared drinks and food, probably trying to rekindle a love that was. The bill was totaled to 3,020, which was settled by Caroline. He then paid for hotel room at Didamax Hotel, room 107, that they were to spend their time together rekindling their love. They arrived in the hotel, got into the room, and that was the last time Mr. Ndwiga was ever seen. Carol then casually walked out of the room at around midnight, washed her hands, and walked out of the building very calm, as if nothing happened. Her excuse for leaving was that she was going to buy a toothpaste and will be right back. Peter's body was discovered the next day, and the police was informed. At this time, she was long gone, and the detectives were on a manhunt. They made a social media be on the lookout, Bolo, for her, as she was declared armed and dangerous. They also made people aware of her being a really good sharpshooter and knew what to do. A team of police set out a manhunt for her, but for several days she evaded their traps. Initial trails on her led the police to Iten, where she was believed to be targeting to kill another man who was a doctor. She was believed to be in a relationship with the doctor. In a tweet by the then governor of Nairobi, Mike Sonko, he said his lawyer's senior counsel John Haminwa will be seeking bail pending arrest for CarolineKangogo, stating that the lady cop should not be castigated as a criminal until the truth is unveiled. As the search for CarolineKangogo entered the 8th day, on Monday, July 13, the law of Kenya, through a CEO, Mercy Wambua, enlisted lawyer John Haminwa to represent CarolineKangogo in court and to bargain for her release on bond pending her arrest. Sources said that CarolineKangogo had expressed fear for her life. She was declared armed and dangerous, and also rogue, so she was an enemy to her fellow colleagues. After leaving the hotel, she withdrew 40,000 at a bank in Juja and boarded a bus to Mombasa, where she wanted to end the life of her former husband Ngeno. She thought of her kids and later aborted her plans. Sometime later, her parents reported that they found Caroline dead in their bathroom in Elgeyo Marakwet. The regional police commissioner George Natembeya confirmed her death, while positively identifying the body as that of CarolineKangogo. George Natembeya said Caroline had paupered herself using a pistol at her parents' home. The family will later tell the police that they never had any gunshots. On Twitter, the then president of Law Society of Kenya, Nelson Harvey, claimed that there was something fishy with her death, since the police had rushed to the conclusion that she had paupered herself, yet there are no witnesses to prove that Caroline had actually done that. His tweet read,
"The media has been conscripted by the DCI to run with cover-up story. CarolineKangogo commits. Who was the witness? Where was the autopsy done? I remember telling the special crimes boss on Tuesday that I'm sure you guys will eventually tell us that you found her dead."
The Law Society of Kenya President Nelson Harvey was trying to say that he suspected Caroline had met a foul play. That Friday, more information would emerge. Initially, the police denied that Caroline had left behind a committing note. However, A screen grab of that note was leaked to social media, and the detectives had no choice but to officially release it. It was retrieved from a dropped folder of her phone. Part of the message directed to her husband, and it read,
"Since I met you, my husband, I have never known peace due to your mistreatment, always chasing after women, torturing me physically and mentally."
She also confessed that it was her intention to kill her husband too, but she had refrained herself. To her husband she wrote,
"I was in Mombasa and I always saw you being picked and dropped. I wanted to unalive you, but I sympathized with my kids. I forgive you and I hope you do the same."
She goes ahead to say that her father disowned her after her marriage with her husband failed. She asked her parents to forgive her and left orders to cremate her body, and if they choose to bury her, she wished to be buried in her father's land and in a wedding dress. And she wrote,
"To my people, it's my wedding day. Dress me in a white gown that my husband could not afford."
She directed. She blamed her recent actions on depression, which stemmed from her failed marriage, and although in the message she did not give a reason for unaliving Constable, she referred to him as the love of her life, and the text said,
"For you, my love, John Ogweno, our love was made in heaven, and that's why since Monday, the day after the incident, you embraced me with love and forgiveness and told me it is well with my soul, despite living in separate worlds. Rest well and see you soon."
For Peter Ndigwa, who was spotted with her on CCTV at a Dedemark hotel in Kimbo, she had no apologies to make. She wrote,
"I don't owe anyone an apology. He conned me 1.5 million shillings, whereby I borrowed 300 Kenya shillings for my father's retirement benefits, when he arrogantly told me he will not pay, and I even found him with a new Pro Box."
She also claimed that she had suffered at the hands of senior Nakuru police officer whom she accused of harassment in her text. Police Commander Beatrice Karagori said that CarolineKangogo had been good at her job and there was nothing telling about her that would be linked to her killing spree. She revealed that none of Kangogo's bosses had ever raised a disciplinary issue against her. On Thursday, July 29th, Caroline was laid to rest in a low-key funeral where there was no gunfires and no police officers attended in uniform, as Caroline was buried at her parents' Nyawa village home. Tradition in the police service would require a 21 gunfire salute, but because of the circumstances around her death, Caroline was denied the honor. Her body was dressed in a wedding dress as per her wishes. She was eulogized as a humble and good officer by her friends and relatives.
Police burial rites were nowhere to be seen in the final journey of Police Constable CarolineKangogo, which included the 21-gun salute. Instead, only a few family and friends attended the low-key burial event.
It was her last journey on earth, but it was accorded with no respect despite her ranks in the police ladder. In a normal occasion, CarolineKangogo will be accorded police burial rites, which include police escort and 21-gun salute, but it was a no-show. Kangogo's burial being a low-key event in Nyawa village in Elgeyo Marakwet. Even though her counterparts from Nakuru County attended the burial, it was only a civilian show for the police officer who died while in the police force.
The autopsy carried out on CarolineKangogo at the Moi Referral Hospital in Eldoret showed that the bullet entered her body through the right chin and exited on the left side of the head, and there was a trajectory going through the spine to the brain, killing her instantly. However, the pathologist said that further investigation would be done to establish whether she pawpawed herself or by someone else, since this was unclear at the time of her burial. Her parents and her family accepted the theory that she pawpawed herself. They did not dispute it in court or in public when eventually this was ruled as self-inflicted. They chose to put this whole ordeal behind them. To the family, they were satisfied, but to the netizens of Kenya, they had doubts. Their doubt based on many factors like she had muddy shoes but the floor was clean. She was also left-handed but had self-inflicted with her right hand. There was no blood spatter anywhere. Tell me down below if you think that Caroline self-inflicted or she met a foul play. I would really love to know what you think about this case. As always, thank you very much for watching and listening, and I will see you next week.